Fire filled the sky as Kalen Voss dropped through the air. The planet's thick atmosphere pushed hard against his broken spaceship. It shook like an angry giant playing with a small toy. Bright flames shot past his windows. Warning sounds screamed from every corner. The cockpit smelled like burned wires and something that meant he might die soon. "Let me think about this," Kalen said to himself. His hands held tight to the controls that barely worked. No engines. Navigation broken. The ship is falling apart. And something up there doesn't like me. A big explosion hit the back of his ship. Oh, great. Now the left engine just blew up. This day keeps getting better. Gravity 1. The ship fell fast, spinning like a crazy top. It looked like a burning rock falling toward the strange land below. Kalen could barely see the weird wilderness, sharp cliffs made of shiny black rock and huge forests that glowed with their own light. Then he hit every emergency button he had left. The backup rockets fired weakly. The air brakes broke off like paper. Then he hit the ground. The ship crashed hard. It slid through thick plants, cutting a path through trees that broke like glass. The cockpit shook so hard his teeth hurt. A control panel broke open and shot sparks at him. He flew forward against his safety straps while metal screamed and bent around him. Then everything went quiet. For a moment, Kalen just sat there looking at his cracked window. Smoke rose from the broken controls. Somewhere outside, strange alien animals called to each other. They didn't seem to care about his big entrance. "Could have been worse," he said quietly. Then he tried to move his left arm. Pain hit him so hard he almost couldn't see. He took a sharp breath and ground his teeth together. His arm was bent in a way arms should never bend. "Oh," he said through his teeth. "Yeah, that's broken." His training told him what to do. He needed to fix the bone before the pain got worse. He used his good hand to find his emergency medical kit. He pulled out a splint and pain medicine. But first, he had to do the hard part. This was going to hurt a lot. He pressed his hurt arm against his knee very carefully. He took a deep breath. Then, snap. A sick cracking sound. Stars burst in front of his eyes. He made a hissing sound through his teeth. His whole body went stiff from the terrible pain. His fingers shook as he put the splint around his now straight bone and tied it tight. A sound made him jump. It was a soft, scared gasp. He looked up fast. Someone stood just outside his broken ship, half hidden by a destroyed tree. She was tall, thin, and completely alien. She had 4 pretty arms pressed against her mouth in horror. Her big, glowing eyes stared right at him. Her skin changed colors between light blue and sick green. Kalen blinked, still dizzy from the pain. "Oh, hi there." The alien girl stared at him. Then she looked down at his arm that was still attached to his body. Then she fell over. Kalen looked at her lying there. Then at his arm. Then back at her. "Well," he said, letting out a long breath. "That's new." He leaned back against what was left of his pilot seat. His head hit the wall with a soft thud. This was going to be one crazy day. Kalen stared at the alien girl lying on the ground. Then he looked at his still hurting arm. Then back at her. "Right," he said to himself. "So either I already made the locals angry, or they get really shocked by meeting new people." The alien hadn't moved since she hit the ground. That worried him a little. Was she still breathing? He had no idea how her body worked. Maybe she had just gone to sleep for a while. Or worse, maybe she had broken her own mind and was growing a new one. The way his day was going, he wouldn't be surprised. But he was pretty sure she had just fainted. Her glowing skin had changed from light blue to a dull purple color that pulsed slowly. Her arms, all four of them, were twitching a little. Kaylin sighed. Well, I can't just leave you lying in the dirt. He ground his teeth against the pain in his arm and pushed himself up from the wreckage. He swayed a little before walking over to her. Up close, she was even stranger. She had delicate features that looked almost like an insect. She had big mirror-like eyes, 2 pairs of arms, and long fingers with joints. Her skin had a faint shimmer. Now that he was closer, he could see thin lines of biolight running under her skin. They flickered in a slow, steady pattern. He crouched down carefully and touched her shoulder. Hey, are you alive? No answer. He looked around as if he expected a helpful instruction book to appear out of nowhere. Then he tried again, tapping gently on what he hoped was a safe spot. Come on, don't make me give you mouth-to-mouth. I don't even know where your lungs are. This time her biolight flickered wildly. It changed colors from purple to a deep, startled green. Her big eyes opened and locked onto his face with a look of pure horror. Kaylin held up his good hand in what he hoped meant, please don't panic. Good morning, sunshine. She scrambled backward really fast. All 4 of her arms pressed against the ground to push herself away from him. She breathed fast and shallow. Her whole body kept changing colors, which he was starting to realize showed how she felt. Okay, let's just dash, Kaylin started to say. But then she suddenly pointed at his hurt arm. Her glowing eyes were wide with something between amazement and fear. She said something in her own language, a series of clicks and musical sounds that his translator could barely understand. The words that came through were disturbing: unnatural flesh, impossible repair, are you broken or alive? Kaylin blinked. Yes. She stared at him like he had just said he was immortal. Look, he said, shifting a little, I know my arm looked pretty messed up a minute ago. But trust me, humans just heal like this. It's what we do. She made a high-pitched sound that meant she didn't believe him. Then another stream of words came through the translator. You were broken. I saw you. You should have dropped it. You should have let it go. Oh. Understanding hit Kaylin like a truck. Her species didn't heal broken bones, they replaced them. He stared at her in growing horror. Wait, hold on. You guys just, what? Snap off parts when they break? Like some kind of walking starfish? The alien girl pulled back. You do not? No, Kaylin said, shocked. Do I look like I can just pop my own arm off? What do you think I am, a toy that comes apart? She flinched at the unfamiliar comparison, but she seemed to understand what he meant. Her gaze went to his arm again, still held in its makeshift splint. Slowly, she reached out, hesitant, and stopped just short of touching him. She spoke quieter now. And it will work again without falling away? Kaylin nodded. Yeah. A few weeks, maybe a month. Then it's good as new. The alien girl's biolight flickered in a fast sequence of colors, yellow, blue, then settling into a slow, pulsing green. She looked at him as if he had just rewritten the laws of science right in front of her. For a long moment, they just stared at each other. Two completely different beings from two completely different worlds, trying to understand the impossible strangeness of the other. Then Kalen sighed and rubbed his forehead. You know, I had plans today. None of them involved explaining human biology to an alien who thinks I should have just dropped my own arm like a bad habit. The alien girl hesitated, then tilted her head in a way that was clearly curious. Your plans have failed, she said. Kalen let out a short laugh despite everything. Yeah, they really have. The tension cracked just a little. The weight of how strange they both were settled into something less like fear and more like confused fascination. It was a start. Kalen was starting to think that the universe had it out for him personally. Not only had he crashed on an alien planet with no working ship, a broken arm, and no backup, but now he was stuck with a four-armed alien girl who looked at him like he was some kind of monster. The alien, who still hadn't decided if he was friend, enemy, or flesh horror, kept watching him with those huge mirror-like eyes. Her biolight flickered in uncertain patterns. Her gaze kept going back to his splinted arm. Kalen sighed and shifted to get more comfortable against the wreckage of his ship. Look, if we're going to do this, we should probably tell each other our names. I'm Kalen. Kalen. He tapped his chest for emphasis. She tilted her head, then copied him, pressing one of her four hands against her chest. Sira, she said. Kalen grinned. Nice to meet you, Sira. Sorry for the whole traumatizing you with my horrifying healing abilities thing. Sira's skin flickered a fast mix of blue and yellow, probably her way of showing confusion. It is unnatural, she said after a pause. Your kind should not stay attached. Yeah, well, neither should my spaceship, but here we are. Sira's gaze went to the wreckage around them. Her expression shifted slightly. You arrived in this? Technically, I crashed in this. It was a ship. Now it's modern art. Kalen pointed to the ruined metal scattered across the ground. The once proud Starhawk-class scout vessel was now a smoking pile of junk. The chance of getting it working again was about the same as him growing a third arm. Sira approached carefully, looking at the wreckage like she wasn't sure if it was going to attack her. She reached out with one of her upper hands and poked a bent panel. Yep, Kalen said. That used to be the navigation system. Sira poked it again. It does not navigate now. Excellent observation. Sira gave him a look that definitely meant she was not impressed. With a tired groan, Kalen pushed himself to his feet, swaying slightly. His arm still ached, but at least the pain medicine was helping. He needed to check what supplies he had left, test his emergency beacon, and most importantly, figure out if anything around here was safe to eat. Sira seemed to have a similar idea. You require food? She asked, watching him with careful curiosity. Kalen blinked. Wait, you guys eat, right? Sira made a chittering sound that he suspected was laughter. Yes. Do humans not? Oh, we eat. We also get very cranky if we don't. Sira gave him a slow, thoughtful look. Then without another word, she turned and began walking into the thick alien forest. Kalen hesitated. Should I follow you? Sira paused, looked over her shoulder, and made a motion with one of her hands that probably meant yes or possibly try to keep up, fragile creature. Kalen sighed. Sure, why not? It's not like my day can get any weirder. As it turned out, it could get weirder. Sira led him through the alien jungle, moving with a ghostly kind of grace, barely making a sound. Kaelin, meanwhile, stepped on every possible twig, crunched leaves underfoot, and nearly tripped twice on exposed roots. Stealth isn't really a human specialty, he muttered after his third near faceplant. Syrah glanced at him. Yes, I have noticed. Eventually, they stopped near a cluster of strange, bulb-shaped plants that glowed faintly in the dim light. Syrah picked one and held it up for him to see. Food. Kaelin eyed it suspiciously. The thing looked like a cross between a mango and a jellyfish. Define food. Syrah tilted her head. You eat it. It keeps you alive. Food. Yeah, but will I die if I eat it? Syrah thought about this for a long moment. Unknown. Awesome. Love that for me. Syrah, apparently not bothered by the possibility of poisoning him, took a bite of the fruit herself. A thick, glowing liquid oozed from the exposed flesh. Kaelin wrinkled his nose. That is deeply disturbing. Syrah swallowed. Delicious. Kaelin sighed. Well, when in Rome. He took the fruit, braced himself, and bit into it. A strange mix of flavors flooded his mouth, something between honey and citrus, but with an odd fizzy feeling that made his tongue tingle. Ha! Not bad. Then his throat started to burn. Okay, Kaelin choked, coughing hard. A little warning next time. This stuff's carbonated. Syrah's skin flickered a deep green, definitely amusement. You are not dead. That is good. Kaelin wiped his mouth. Glad I passed the doesn't immediately drop dead test. Syrah's amusement faded slightly. She studied him, her glowing eyes sharp and calculating. You are fragile. Kaelin scoffed. Hey, I'll have you know humans are very tough. We might not regenerate like you guys, but we're stubborn as hell. Syrah hummed thoughtfully, tilting her head. Stubbornness is not survival. Sure it is, Kaelin said, stretching his sore arm. Stubbornness is why I'm still alive. It's why I set my own broken bones instead of dropping them. It's why I'm not giving up on fixing my ship even though it's currently about as useful as a brick. Syrah watched him for a long moment, something unreadable in her expression. Then finally, she spoke. You are strange, Kaelin. Kaelin grinned. Yeah, I get that a lot. Syrah huffed, but there was something almost amused in her manner now. Slowly, her skin flickered to a more neutral blue. Maybe, Kaelin thought, this whole stranded on an alien world thing wouldn't be completely terrible. It was a start. Kaelin woke up to the very unpleasant feeling of something poking his face. He groaned and rolled onto his side, only for the poking to get worse. This time it was on his shoulder. He opened one eye to find Syrah crouched beside him, her forearms neatly folded, her bio-light skin flickering in shades of curious gold. You are inactive, she observed. That's called sleeping, Kaelin muttered, rubbing his face. Humans do it. It's kind of important for us. Syrah tilted her head, clearly fascinated. You stop working for hours. Stop working? Kaelin snorted. Way to make it sound dramatic. It is dramatic, she countered. Your body shuts down. Your awareness disappears. If you are attacked, you cannot defend yourself. Which is why we usually sleep in safe places, Kaelin said, sitting up with a yawn. Unfortunately, my safe place decided to turn into a flaming wreck, so here we are. He stretched, wincing at the dull ache in his arm. Why don't you sleep? Syrah's skin flickered again, but this time a soft blue-green. Not in the way you do. We rest, but our minds do not shut down completely. Some part of us is always aware. Kaelin blinked. So what, you just power nap your way through life? We cycle, she explained, gesturing vaguely with one hand. Some parts of the mind rest while others remain alert. This way, we are never truly unaware. Kaelin shook his head in disbelief. That's cheating. Syrah gave him a confused look. It is biology. Still cheating, Kaelin muttered. Next you're going to tell me you can regrow your limbs in like a day or something. Syrah considered this. Not a day. Perhaps 3. Kaelin groaned. Of course you can. Syrah's biolight pulsed in a way he was starting to recognize as amusement. You seem displeased. Just jealous, Kaelin admitted. You get built-in limb regeneration and constant awareness, and I get to spend 8 hours every night lying in the dirt, hoping nothing eats me in my sleep. Syrah hummed, glancing around. Nothing has eaten you yet. Yet, Kaelin muttered darkly. Syrah considered this, then made an odd chittering noise, the same one he'd heard when she first laughed. I will watch while you are inactive, she said, her skin flickering with something he suspected was reassurance. Nothing will eat you. Kaelin snorted. That might be the nicest thing anyone's ever said to me. With sleep out of the way and his arms still held together by stubbornness and medical tape, Kaelin turned his attention to something actually important, his emergency beacon. Okay, he muttered, pulling the small rectangular device from his belt. Moment of truth. Syrah crouched nearby, watching intently. This object is what? Distress beacon, Kaelin said. It sends a signal into space so anyone listening can come pick me up. He frowned, flipping the device over. Assuming it still works. Syrah leaned closer, studying it. Your people, they will come for you? Kaelin hesitated for just a moment before forcing a grin. That's the plan. Syrah didn't miss his pause. But you are uncertain. He sighed. It depends on a lot of things. Whether the signal is strong enough. Whether there's a ship in range. Whether the right people find it first. Syrah's skin flickered a muted green. Your enemies search for you? Kaelin glanced at her, surprised by how quickly she'd put that together. Let's just say I didn't crash here by accident. Syrah tilted her head, considering him. Then activating this beacon may bring danger. It might, Kaelin admitted. But staying here forever isn't exactly an option either. I don't suppose you have any spaceships lying around? Syrah made the chittering noise again. No. We do not leave this world. Figures, Kaelin muttered. All right, well, let's see if this thing has any juice left. He flipped the switch. A small red light blinked to life, and for a moment, relief flooded him. Then the beacon sparked violently, let out a dying beep, and went dark. Kaelin stared at it. Oh, come on! Syrah peered at the now useless device. That does not seem ideal. Yeah, thanks, I noticed, Kaelin groaned, shaking the beacon. Stupid thing must have gotten fried in the crash. Syrah studied it thoughtfully. You require power. Yeah, Kaelin sighed, and unless you've got a portable generator hidden somewhere, I'm out of luck. Syrah's biolight pulsed as she stood. Come. Kaelin blinked. Ah, Come where? She simply gestured for him to follow. Kalen sighed, shoving the dead beacon into his pocket. Fine, but if this is another attempt to poison me with alien fruit, I'm not falling for it twice. Syrah's skin flickered gold again. That remains to be seen. Syrah led him to a place unlike anything Kalen had ever seen. They arrived at the base of a massive biolite tree, easily the size of a starship. Its roots twisted and coiled into the earth, forming complex patterns that seemed almost designed rather than natural. More than that, the air here was charged, a subtle hum of energy vibrating through the ground. Syrah approached the tree, pressing one of her hands against its trunk. Immediately, thin lines of light pulsed outward, spreading like veins. Kalen's mouth fell open. No way. Syrah turned to him. Our world is alive. Kalen swallowed, his mind racing. If this tree, if this entire planet was some kind of massive bioelectric network. Then you think this could charge my beacon? He asked. Syrah's biolight flickered. You are not the first to require power. Kalen stared at her, then back at the glowing tree. Slowly, a grin spread across his face. All right, he muttered, rolling up his sleeves. Let's science the hell out of this. Kalen had done a lot of questionable things in his life. Hot-wiring a starship while being shot at? Check. Bluffing his way through a customs checkpoint with a forged ID and a charming smile? Double check. Trying to jumpstart a distress beacon using the bioelectric energy of a sentient alien tree? Well, that one was new. All right, let's do this before I think about it too hard, Kalen muttered, crouching beside the thick, glowing roots. Syrah stood nearby, watching with what could only be described as quiet amusement. You are not confident. Oh, I'm very confident, Kalen said. Confident that this could either work or fry me like a broken circuit board. Syrah made the chittering noise he'd come to recognize as laughter. I will make sure you do not catch fire. Great. That's very reassuring, Kalen muttered, pulling out the broken beacon. He studied the flickering pulses of energy running through the roots, then carefully pressed the beacon's power port against the faintly glowing bark. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, with a sharp crack, a surge of energy shot through the device, sending a sharp jolt up Kalen's arm. Ow! Okay, too much juice, he yelped, yanking it away. Syrah's skin flashed a concerned shade of blue. Did it work? Kalen shook out his tingling hand, then checked the beacon. The tiny red light on the panel flickered, then steadied into a solid glow. He let out a breathless laugh. Oh, hell yes! Syrah leaned closer. It is working? Kalen grinned, tapping the device. Beacon's online, baby. Now we just got to hope someone friendly picks up the signal. Syrah watched the blinking light, something unreadable in her expression. And if your enemies find it first? Kalen's grin faded slightly. Then I run again. A long silence stretched between them. Syrah's biolight flickered softly in the dim glow of the tree. You do not wish to leave. Kalen hesitated. That's not Dashi sighed, running a hand through his hair. It's complicated, all right? I need to leave, but that doesn't mean I want to. Syrah tilted her head, watching him closely. Then why must you go? Because I don't belong here, Kalen said simply. This is your world, not mine. I don't know the rules. I don't know how to survive here. And sooner or later, someone will come looking for me. I don't want to bring that trouble to you. Syrah studied him for a long moment. Then, to his surprise, she reached out and tapped his injured arm. And yet you survived. Kaelin blinked. Barely. Barely is still survival, Syrah said. And you are not weak, Kaelin. You are adaptable. Kaelin snorted. Yeah, tell that to my broken spaceship. Syrah made her chittering noise again. Perhaps your ships are not as adaptable as you. Before Kaelin could respond, the beacon in his hand emitted a soft, rhythmic beep. His heart nearly stopped. That was a response ping. Someone had picked up the signal. Syrah's gaze snapped to the device. Your people? Kaelin swallowed, staring at the blinking light. Or someone else, he muttered. Another beep, this one sharper, more distinct. A message. With a deep breath, Kaelin pressed the button. A voice crackled through, tiny and distant, distress signal, Starhawk class. Identify yourself. Kaelin felt something loosen in his chest. It was friendly. This is Kaelin Voss, pilot of the Reliant. My ship's down. I'm stranded. Need extraction. A brief pause. Then, copy that, Kaelin Voss. We're tracking your signal. Stand by. Kaelin let out a breath of relief. That's what I like to hear. Syrah was still watching him, her skin flickering in uncertain patterns. They are coming. Yeah, Kaelin said, quieter this time. They are. Silence stretched between them again, heavier now. Syrah's biolight shifted, patterns flowing across her skin. And then you leave. Syrah's gaze flicked away. I see. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. Kaelin stared at the beacon, his fingers tightening around it. He should be thrilled. He was getting off this planet, going home. But for some reason, the thought didn't feel as good as it should have. He glanced at Syrah, at the way her glowing skin pulsed with something subdued, at the way she still stood close as if reluctant to step away. And he realized with sudden clarity that he would miss this. The weird biolight fruit. The alien forests. The way Syrah looked at him like he was both impossible and fascinating at the same time. Maybe he didn't belong here, but for a brief moment, he had. Kaelin cleared his throat. You know, I could put in a good word for you. If you ever wanted to leave. See the stars. Syrah glanced at him, her expression unreadable. This is my home. I know, Kaelin said. But it doesn't have to be the only place you ever see. Syrah was quiet for a long time. Then finally, she reached out, pressing one of her hands lightly against his uninjured arm. And if you ever return? Kaelin smirked. Then I'm making you try the weird food next time. Syrah chittered softly, the light on her skin flickering through soft, warm shades. Then perhaps I shall look forward to that. Overhead, the distant hum of an approaching ship broke the quiet. Kaelin exhaled, rolling his shoulders. All right, he muttered. Let's see what kind of trouble I've got waiting for me up there. As the rescue team descended, weapons ready, Kaelin shot Syrah one last grin. Keep an eye on my ship for me, yeah? Syrah's biolight pulsed warmly. I will watch while you are inactive. Kaelin laughed, shaking his head as he turned toward the approaching figures. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't goodbye forever.